Welcome to the Strength and Realty podcast. Welcome to the show. I want to welcome Veso Kosev. Today I want to talk about something really cool, and that is about CrossFit and why people quit CrossFit.
Wow. Really? That's what we're going today?
No, it's really about Airbnbs.
Oh, much better.
Well, let's start off with, who the hell are you, Veso? Introduce yourself.
I have been in real estate since I was 16, interestingly enough. So I got a job in a real estate office a week after my 16th birthday. So it's really the only thing I've ever done. Kind of tried out different aspects of it. Worked for builders, worked for banks, dealing with foreclosures. Now I'm a broker. I've got my own team of agents. So yeah, it's been an interesting ride the last 14 years. And eventually started doing some rental properties on our own, which over the last 12, 14 months kind of converted over into vacation rental, which has been a very interesting experience.
Very good. A baby compared to how long it's been, but
Goes fast.
Yeah, really.
Mm-hmm.
It ages you a lot, right? I've
Sure.
heard.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
You're 5 years older, right? What we look the same.
So let's talk about the Airbnbs. Like, what did you do Airbnbs? Like, what made you interested in it?
I've known about Airbnb for a while before I started doing anything with it. Lately, when my wife and I have traveled, we started booking Airbnbs because you get a little bit more privacy than being in a hotel. We actually go to New Mexico to ski every year for this will be our 6th year. So that's kind of one of the first times we started doing it because we would just rent a big house, go with a bunch of friends. Just a lot more amenities than just going to your regular hotel, right? But in my head, it was like, you got to have a vacation property somewhere in the mountains or on the beach.
Yeah.
And I didn't have anything like that available at the time. So I didn't really see any potential for me in the near future. And then about a year ago, it was actually last summer before Harvey hit, we had a rental property that was coming back on the market. The tenants were moving out. And at the time, nobody was interested in leasing that house, and we had it listed for, I think, $200 a month less than what the outgoing tenant was paying.
Right.
And we still were getting no activity on it whatsoever. And then I randomly talked to an agent who had a acreage property in Magnolia with a few cottages on it. And we just happened to somehow talk about that and that she's been renting them on Airbnb in Magnolia, which is not really a vacation destination if you think about it.
It's not.
For
those of you not local to Houston, it's the boonies.
Yeah, it's just basically out in the country. There wasn't, there's not a lake or anything like that nearby. Yeah. So at the same time, we had a relative that was moving out of an apartment here in Houston. This house that we were trying to rent had just become vacant. I said, you know what? Let's just give it a shot. Let's give this whole vacation rental thing a try. Interesting thing is that this is not a vacation property whatsoever. It's your typical one-story suburb, 4-bedroom, one-story house. We don't even have a pool in the subdivision. Pulled that whole thing together in about 2 weeks. And interestingly enough, I got a call. Mind you, it's still listed for lease as a regular rental at this time, right? No one's calling about it. I get a call from an insurance company saying, hey, I know you're probably going to say no, but we're looking for a 3-month rental on a house. Are you willing to lease your house for 3 months? So it turns out it was a temporary housing company that was contacting me. This specific family had gone on vacation, came back home, a toilet had busted a little valve upstairs the day after they left.
Yeah.
They were gone for 2 weeks. The whole 2 weeks water was just running down the whole house the whole time. The way the neighbors' houses were situated, you couldn't really see anything. Mm-hmm. So literally 2 weeks of just continuous water through the house.
Yeah.
So this lady was actually calling just to lease because at the time the photos were vacant. So she thought they were just going to lease her vacant house. Then she was going to have to go out and lease furniture, utensils, plates, blankets, basically furnish the whole house.
Yeah.
Right? Everything down to except your clothes. So I said, well, actually, we just got through setting up the house to do that exact same thing. So the rate's no longer going to be what's posted. It's about 3 times that. And she's like, perfect. That's easier for us because we don't have to do anything. It's turnkey and ready to go.
Yeah.
This is crazy that this kind of came together out of nowhere, but cool, let's do it. So we signed a 3-month lease with that housing agency.
It's crazy, man.
At the time, we were trying to lease the house for $1,600 a month. We got $3,000 a month in rent through this housing agency, right? Day before the tenants were supposed to move in, I go to check on the house. Actually, Our AC went out the day before they're supposed to move in. Can't get the AC fixed for 3 days, so we pushed back their move-in date. I'm out there with the AC guy at 10 o'clock one of the evenings working on it, right?
Yeah.
The people were excited. They're finally getting out of the hotel. They've been in the hotel now for a month. I go back to the house the next morning at 7 a.m. just to make sure everything's looking good.
Yeah.
Water everywhere. Had a random pipe bust in the attic overnight.
Oh, shit.
Leak down the wall in the dining room. The whole house had laminate floors at the time. And those things are like sponges, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, there was probably almost a good inch of water just sitting throughout the whole house, right? So needless to say, that reservation got canceled because we could no longer accommodate the people. I ended up having to renovate the entire house, basically, right?
Yeah.
But insurance paid for it, knock on wood, worked out pretty good. Then Harvey happened.
Oh, then Harvey.
Then Harvey happened. But yeah, that property, since they moved in the Tuesday after Harvey or whatever, you know, when everything cleared up.
Yeah, yeah.
So ever since that Tuesday, that house has been occupied, everything minus about 23 days.
So what do you think is the biggest difference between, like, say, an investor wanting to do your traditional 1 year, 2 year lease versus going Airbnb, which is on demand?
Airbnb thing is definitely not easier or not necessarily more profitable because it does require a lot more time. A big factor that you got to consider when you do this is your property subject to a homeowners association, okay? That's a huge issue. There's actually been lawsuits all over the country. I think there's actually a lawsuit going on in New York right now because the city of New York says, hey, you can't Airbnb because you're competing with hotels. Obviously, the hotels have a lot of power and influence in politics. It's a huge business. Texas, there was even a lawsuit that was just settled by the Supreme Court in May of this year, right? That kind of gave some clarity to the situation. So it's a new thing. It's kind of like when Uber came in and the city, you know, the city was not letting them do their things. They were getting tickets, all this kind of stuff. But all that aside, most homeowners associations do not let you do Airbnb style rentals. And the key word there is that you can't do transient use. Okay? Transient is considered, technically, from my understanding, I look at it as less than 30 days, right? So if I need to lease a property for 12 days, that's considered transient, right? If I lease 31 days or longer, then you're good. You're in the clear, right?
Yeah.
So we've got 3 properties that we do right now. 2 of them have to be at least 31 days or longer because of the HOAs.
Okay.
The one we're in right now, we can do nightly rentals too.
So that can be the transient thing. That can kind of be a workaround.
Yeah,
so if
absolutely.
you have someone that is a 31 days, 2 months, 3 months, something like that,
Can do it
they
anywhere.
can technically still do Airbnb and an HOA.
Correct.
But I would say you probably want to verify every HOA is different.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
that's
Most HOAs kind of use the same template of documents, but you do want to look at yours in detail. And you can still put it on Airbnb because you can set a minimum, booking length, right?
Yeah.
Or a maximum, even if you want to do that.
Yeah.
We're calling it short term because it's less than a year,
Yeah.
but it's in the short term business, it's long term because it's longer than 1 month. And most of our people end up staying on average 3.5 months. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
And to kind of contrast this with the Airbnb that we're in today, that's you can lease by the night.
Yeah.
It's really different because once those people move in for 3 months, I don't deal with that property whatsoever.
Yeah.
I don't have to clean it. I don't have to do anything. I just location obviously is really big. Just south of the Woodlands, they're super close to the freeways. People don't care if you're in a bad school district necessarily.
Yeah, because they're not living there permanently.
Right. So the last one we bought, that was actually, it really worked out in our favor. So the neighborhood we bought the last houses in is a great neighborhood.
Yeah.
But on the wrong side of the road. Okay, so on their side of the road, the school district's pretty terrible. On the other side of the road, the school district is great.
Typical.
Yeah,
zoning lines.
you wouldn't know that driving by because it looks like a great area, super well kept. It's just the values are a lot lower over there, right?
Yeah.
For us, that's great because we're able to get a better deal on the property, so our cost is less.
Yeah.
But it's still close to the freeway. It's still a nice area. It's still convenient.
Just finding opportunities.
It works absolutely great.
All in the details.
But those people are typically either on a job assignment for a few months, right? Something that's been very popular is people that sell their house very quickly,
Yeah.
and then they don't have anywhere to go. So either they're building a new home, the new home's not getting ready for 6 months, but they have to close their current house first, right?
Yeah.
So we've had, I think, 3 families that were in that situation.
And they don't want a hotel situation.
No, I mean, imagine doing that.
Yeah.
Well, and usually I think that's why the suburb ones are so popular, because typically that's your only option is to go to an apartment.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
It's like the most common thing, right?
And a lot of people don't want to do an apartment, or if you're coming from a bigger property or you got dogs or something, definitely not going to work.
Yeah. Yeah, I can say that's convenient, right? Because you have a garage, so they can kind of store their junk. They don't have to pay for storage and an apartment.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just the convenience of having a house.
Yeah, and honestly, if you kind of go to these websites and check out in the suburbs what kind of inventory there is for that kind of rentals, it's very slim. Another big advantage that we've experienced, and I think you can kind of attest to that, your typical rental, you can check their credit, call a reference maybe if they're not lying on their application, but you really don't have any kind of way to know if they treat the property right and if they're keeping it in good shape, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when they move out, if there's smudges and paint, there can be a lot of ordinary wear and tear that you can charge for, but it still costs you money, right? So the cool thing with this kind of rental is that, they rate my house, so I have an incentive to keep the property up in top shape.
And then they get rated.
And they get rated as well as guests, because when I get a booking request, that's the first thing I look at.
Yeah.
Like, what's your rating? What are other people saying about you? If they don't have a rating, I'll charge them a higher deposit.
It's that Uber world right there.
Exactly, and it works out great because, knock on wood, I think we've been through about 16, 17 guests throughout the 3 properties.
Yeah.
Right now I have a remote missing, and that's the biggest thing. And the guy just sent me a message and said, sorry man, I packed it accidentally. I'll overnight it back to you.
Oh, easy.
So again, this is a house that costs twice as much money.
Right.
Exactly. So typically they take care of things better.
World of Airbnb.
It's definitely a new thing. We'll see.
Question, how many of you have Airbnb'd in Houston or around Houston? You drop a comment if you have. I have for sure.
Yeah?
Austin.
How'd you like it?
Oh, it's fine. I love Airbnb.
Yeah?
Just because it's like you can go with like a group of friends, right? So your cost is like super low. Or if you just go with yourself, it's super private.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
Because you have your own driveway. Unless you're going to like the Sheraton or something like that. If you're just going there to spend a couple nights, like Airbnb to me is like the way to go.
Yeah. Have you ever done it where you're leasing a room from someone and they are in the house too?
No. So the closest we've gotten to that is in Austin. It was a cottage in the backyard.
Okay.
But it had its own driveway.
Yeah.
So if we looked hard enough, we could probably see who was in the main house. But for the most part, not really.
Yeah, still your own space.
The other one, which was closer, I think we had the first level, and then the second level was them.
Okay.
But then they had their own access.
Okay, so still separate.
Still separate.
Yeah.
So,
We're thinking about the old houses, around McGregor. They're big, lots of space, lots of bedrooms.
Oh, by the way, this guy is a real estate guru, in my opinion. He knows a lot about Houston, real estate in general.
Dork.
General dork.
General
Call him
dork,
real estate geek. That should be your next flyer, the real estate geek.
Yeah. I think I'm too cool looking now for a geek, No? All right, never mind. Maybe we'll try that.
No, Clark Kent of Edo.
Edo.
But you'll have to wear the Superman.
Maybe we'll do an E on it instead of an S.
Yeah. And then it can be like this.
Yeah.
Then Edo, the E.
We'll see what the broker says.
There you go. Free marketing. Free marketing tips for rental here.
Yeah. No royalties for that.
I think we'll wrap it up. Anything that you got coming up that you want to plug?
Not
Besides your Airbnb
really.
rentals that you got.
No, they're all full. I need more houses.
There you go.
So thanks for checking it out, guys. Just something different to think about.
Okay.
Where
can we find you on the socials, on the internet?
Social. I'm not on social that much.
Right.
Just search my name.
Not.
Instagram is probably the best one. I don't post too much on Facebook.
Yeah. VESO.
I think my Instagram
it's Kissov.
KOSSEVV on Instagram.
Something like that.
I don't even know my username.
Yeah. I'll have to link him down below.
There you go. Drop a link.
Yes, he does post on stories quite a bit.
On and off, depends.
Something about his dogs.
Always something about the dogs.
Dogs of the office. Yeah.
You'll get a bad review.
The Airbnb solution. Thanks for watching this. Again, George with Strength and Realty Podcast. Beso, special guest. Let's comment if you want him back. Maybe, maybe not.
Yes. No,
Thumbs up.
maybe.
Like and subscribe to the channel. This will be on YouTube, Facebook, and on Anchor, iTunes, everywhere, pretty much. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.
Thank you.